I don't even know what that means.
No one knows what it means, but it's provocative.
No, it's not. It's
Gets the
gross.
people going. Also, hot motherfuckers want to find me.
What's up, guys? Welcome to the Week 11 preview. Like I said, guys, want to get the people going for Week 11. Guys, this shit is going to be cray. So I figured that a little sound clip would introduce this week the right way. Looking at these matchups, guys, unbelievable, especially this late in the season. We got 3 weeks left, and we get treated to some matchups like this, guys. This is big. Looking at the matchups, you guys, like I talked about in the previous video, the standings are ridiculously close. You know, let's just jump right into it because I'm excited about it. You know, first one on the page is going to be Polish Pounders versus Foster Care, which is Eric's new name. But jumping into it, both teams are 5-5. Both are tied in their respective divisions for the second seed, and it doesn't get much better than this. As we're getting so close, you know, to the end of the season, to be treated with a matchup like this. Let me just start out going down the list here. We got Tom Brady against Kansas City. That should be a big point total, as well as LaShawn McCoy against the Giants. And LaShawn McCoy has been my stud. I've pretty much jumped on his back and rode him the whole way since I've been let down by a couple other guys. But, you know, looking at the matchups here, I am blessed with Texas being on the bye week. Arian Foster, he's going to be out. Matt Schaub out for the season, so I don't have to worry about that. But I do have to worry about DeMarco Murray against Washington. Washington is terrible. DeMarco Murray will probably light them up. You know, he will probably score, you know, 15 to 20. One good thing is that Felix Jones is back in the rotation. So that kind of helps me as well. Hopefully, you know, maybe Felix Jones gets part of those carries. Jimmy Graham's also on the bye, so his big scoring tight end, you know, is out for the week. Reggie Wayne's sitting, but Reggie Wayne's been a non-factor all year. So it looks like Aaron's going to be starting Mark Sanchez against Denver, even though that's a scary matchup for me because Denver is pretty bad defense and Mark Sanchez could blow them up. You know, he's got Michael Bush against Minnesota, who he'll start for Arian Foster and probably not even miss a beat. So I'll be honest with you, I'm worried about this matchup, even though he's got some big guys out. You know, I still am worried about it. You know, I got A.J. Green facing Baltimore. You know, even though Denarius Moore just lit up Baltimore, hopefully A.J. Green can do the same, keep up his streak. You know, catching a lot of touchdowns this year. I think he's got 6 or 7 so far. You know, my one matchup I am worried about big time is Ryan Matthews at Chicago. I probably won't start him based on the fact the Bears' defense is tenacious. Might end up starting James Starks. You know, won't start Willis McGahee this time around with the Jets. But really, that's, I mean, all pretty much I have left to start is James Starks. So, guys, anyway, back to the actual whole matchup. Huge matchup, guys. I mean, based on how tight the NFC is, I pretty much have to win out just to guarantee myself a playoff spot. And that's not even a guarantee because there's 3 teams tied. 3 teams can win out. So it's going to be crazy. I'm going to be posting on the rules and all that stuff on how a team gets into the playoffs based on, you know, if there's a 3-way tie for a division, first you're going to go individual or interdivision record, then head-to-head record, then most points scored in that order if there is a tie. So, guys, like I said, crazy matchup. Eric pretty much wants to win out to guarantee that spot because he's got John right next to him in that tie. So let's jump on over. I think I spent a little too much time on that matchup. Yeah, about 4 minutes. That's fucking what an asshole I am. Anyway, jumping on to this matchup here. This is a big matchup for both teams. Not really for Brock because he's 10-0, but basically for John because he's 5-5. He really needs this win against Brock. And looking at it, he's got Mendenhall on the bye, which does hurt because he doesn't really have another formidable running back, especially with Ahmad Bradshaw kind of on the fence in terms of if he's going to play or not. They don't want to rush him back with the foot injury. Brock is going to have Mike Wallace on the bye, but you know he can maybe throw. You know, he'll be able to throw John Stewart or something in at the flex with Calvin a receiver. He's got some pretty tasty matchups with Tony Romo against Washington, Cedric Benson versus Baltimore, it's a rough one. But, he's got Des Bryant against Washington, Calvin Johnson at Carolina. Calvin Johnson's going to go crazy. He'll probably start Matt Stafford against Carolina as well, even though Tony Romo's got a really nice matchup against Washington. Looking at John, John's got Dwayne Bowe at New England and Steve Johnson at Miami, which both teams have bad pass defenses, and I think both those receivers could go off. Reggie Bush at Buffalo. You saw DeMarco Murray, what he did to Buffalo's defense. Reggie Bush could do the same. And then Michael Turner and Matt Ryan at Tennessee. Tennessee's got a pretty good defense, and, that could turn around to hurt him, or, with the two guys, I mean, they could go big on Tennessee. Tennessee's been, up and down all season. So, guys, this is a matchup to watch. It's actually going to be closer than I think. I still think that, Brock comes away with the win, just, keeps that streak 11 and he'll turn to 11-0, but I would not be surprised in the least bit, if John got a big week and some solid outputs from Reggie Bush and Michael Turner, that, John could win this one by a slim point total, maybe 5. It's that close. Going on to the next matchup, guys, well, before I do that, like I said, it's big because John needs this win, especially with the interdivision record, too. I mean, if they do tie at the end of the year, that one interdivision record against Brock could be the difference. So, anyway, like I said, let's jump on to the next one. We got the Regulators against Titletown USA, Jobby being 5-5, against Jared's 3-7. Jobby's tied for second in the NFC, lost a couple games in a row. Looking to get back on the horse after that pitiful Week 10 where he scored 33 points. Big thing here, though. Got a lot of questionable players. Vic's questionable. Just found out he had 2 broken ribs. Frank Gore with the ankle and the leg injury could spell disaster for Jobby. He is going to get back Deshaun Jackson. He'll play against the Giants, and Deshaun always plays huge against the Giants. So that could be the big thing for him. You look at... other than that, I mean, if Michael Vick doesn't play, he's in trouble, guys. I mean, he's going to be in trouble. He's going to have to start Tim Tebow against the Jets. The Jets are he's going to have to pick up a quarterback, because I wouldn't start Tim Tebow really against anybody, but especially against the Jets. Wes Welker against Kansas City might be a nice play for him, as well as Fred Jackson at Miami. If Frank Gore goes against Arizona's defense, he should do some big things. Jobby actually has some really good matchups this week in terms of who his team plays, but I don't know. If his team's not healthy, he's not going to win this game, period. Especially looking at some of these matchups that Jared has. I mean, he has Eli Manning at Philadelphia. Philadelphia, not a very good pass defense, as even though they have great cornerbacks, guys, they've been getting roasted. LeGarrette Blount at Green Bay, he's probably going to get stopped, but Hakeem Nicks, he could go for a touchdown or so. Jordy Nelson, I would definitely start him against Tampa Bay. Vincent Jackson, guys, against Chicago, that's tough, but, maybe he throws Felix Jones in the mix. I don't know if I would, just based on how good DeMarco Murray's been. This one's going to be close. I would have to say Jobby wins if his team stays healthy, and Jobby will stay in the hunt for that playoff spot. His team really needs a win, and now's his best time to get that win against a 3-7 opponent. So I'm going to take Jobby in that one. It will be close. Like I said, if his guys don't play, don't be surprised if he loses. But I see, maybe some low point totals again from him, based on the fact that he has to start, Anquan Bolden and Sidney Rice. He will obviously throw in Deshaun Jackson now. Going on to my next matchup, Sandusky's Boy Toys against Kiss My Ash. Both teams having a little rough going lately. Ashley dropping 3. She's 4-6 against Nico's 2-8. Nico, looking at this matchup, Cam Newton against Detroit. Detroit's pass defense not very good. Their pass defense pretty good. Run defense not very good. But you never know what can happen. Ben Jarvis Green Ellis at Kansas City could get a couple touchdowns there. Cincinnati, underrated defense in my opinion, could slow down Ray Rice. And with Pierre Thomas on the bye, he'll be out. Steve Smith at Detroit. I'm guessing there's going to be one big hookup for a touchdown there. And then you look at Larry Fitzgerald against San Francisco. He is going to be the main point of that San Francisco defense. They're going to try and shut him down, and San Francisco's defense is no slouch, guys. They're amazing. If Peyton Hillis sits again, I'm not starting Phillip Rivers at Chicago, even if he's my last quarterback. She has to go with Cam Newton. and then she's losing a couple guys in the bye, nobody really important. So, this guys could be a really close matchup. Drew Brees on the bye, Marcus Colston on the bye, Steelers D on the bye. It's a good time to play Nico if you're Ashley, based on some of the bye week players for him. But Jackie Battle against New England could be a good start for Nico. Christian Ponder against Oakland, he could throw together a few good ones. I got to move quick, guys. I realized I'm already 10 minutes in. I'm getting a little too excited about this. But, Mike Williams just had a couple nice catches last week. 2 catches for 43 yards. If he can actually string it together, guys. But, Josh Freeman's been pretty bad. Adrian Peterson against Oakland, he should run wild. So this one could be close, but I am going to take Ashley. She needs that win to stay. If she loses this one, she's out. But if she does win, she needs to keep those playoff hopes alive. Move on. If she loses, game over. But I'm going to take Ashley in this one, improving to 5-6. On to my matchup of the week, guys. This is the one I want to talk about. This is the one everyone should be talking about. Maybe besides me and Eric's matchup being so big, is this one right here. Team Badasses versus Autobot Revolution. Biggest matchup of the week in my opinion. You got a second place team going against the first place team in the division. In their game apart is Aaron, who's 5-5, against Mike, who's 6-4. Looking at this one, first thing I'm looking at is Andre Johnson's on the bye for Aaron. But he's still got Aaron Rodgers against Tampa Bay. Aaron Rodgers, I wouldn't be surprised if he goes for 30 against Tampa Bay. Matt Forte against San Diego's run defense. Brandon Lloyd against Seattle. Laurent Robinson against Washington. I mean, Aaron's got some really good matchups. Bears defense against San Diego. San Diego's got a pretty good offense. They showed it against Green Bay a couple weeks ago. We'll see if Aaron can get the point total that he had last week. But like I said, guys, I mean, these two teams combined for like 275 points just on their last week's totals. So a lot of points look to be scored in this one. Ben Roethlisberger's on the bye, which is Mike's regularly starting quarterback. So he's got to throw Jay Cutler in there against San Diego's defense, who's pretty good. He's got good matchups, so I mean, you look at this. He has Steven Jackson against Seattle, and then he has Marshawn Lynch against St. Louis. Maurice Jones-Drew going against Cleveland. Brandon Marshall against Buffalo. Rob Gronkowski against Kansas City. I mean, Mike couldn't have picked a better time to pretty much lock down the first seed in the NFC. Looking at this, I mean, Mike couldn't have asked for better matchups at a time like this when he's pretty much in a must-win, because if Mike drops this, and some other teams win, Aaron would tie for first place in the division, maybe some other teams as well. But I even though I think Aaron's team is going to score a lot of points, I got to go with Mike based on his matchups. I mean, Mike could easily score another $110. Big thing for Mike, though, is if McFadden plays against Minnesota, he could run pretty well, even though Minnesota's got a decent run defense. Miles Austin out against Washington. I'm guessing he's going to be out another couple weeks. So that could be key for Mike down the stretch. But Victor Cruz has been so good for Mike lately. It's like he hasn't really skipped a beat. But this definitely matchup of the week. Aaron, both teams are going to have to score a lot of points to win. I see a high-scoring matchup, possibly, 115 to 108. It's going to be a barn burner, guys, and it's the matchup of the week for a reason. Big playoff, consequences for either team. Even if Aaron drops this game, he's still 5-6, could be right in the mix, depending on what other teams do in his division. If Mike wins, he pretty much locks up the number 1 seed in the NFC, which has been crazy tight all year. So guys, like I said, this is probably the biggest week in fantasy. It could get even bigger in week 12 and into week 13. But you can't ask for much better than this down the stretch in fantasy football. Hopefully you guys are still having fun, still watching the matchups. Make sure you comment on the matchups. I'm going to do that right after this video. I'm going to vote and do some commenting. So, I mean, you guys pretty much get my opinion on here, but I'll still throw it on the comment board just so maybe some people follow. But hopefully it's been fun, guys. We still got a couple more weeks left. Hang in there. Like I said, divisions are very tight. You never know what can happen. So hopefully you guys enjoyed the videos this week. I split it up because I'm in the mood to talk today. Had some Starbucks. So hopefully you guys enjoy. Good luck this week and have fun. All right, later.